Next question. Jocko, how did you prepare for buds specifically, and where were you physically wise within your class?
It must be a physical night around here. Physical activity night, because that's what the questions are tonight, it seems like. So how did I prepare for buds? Well, again, you got to go back. This is now 1989, 1990. And how did I prepare for buds back then? Well, we didn't know anything. I didn't know anything. There was no media. There was no internet. There was nothing. There wasn't even any books. Mm-hmm. So what did I do? And it wasn't even a we. It was just an I, because I was alone. I didn't know any SEALs. I didn't know anyone was in any kind of special operations at all. So you're just young and stupid and just, okay. So I just looked at it and said, it appears that SEAL training is a bunch of running and swimming and push-ups and pull-ups and rope climbs and dips. It looks to me like in the pictures that the recruiter showed me, they were wearing boots and fatigues. So what did I do? Went to the Army Navy store, bought a couple pair of fatigue pants, bought a couple pairs of jungle boots that looked like what I saw in the recruiting office, and I just ran with boots on. I swam. I did pull-ups, push-ups, and dips. That's what I did to get ready for it. There was no periodization, and there wasn't any plan. I wasn't doing the WOD, there was no workout of the day. I just ran and swam and did pull-ups, push-ups, and dips, and I did them a lot. And actually, I did them a lot, but I didn't even know what I was capable of or what even a person was capable of. Because back then, you could look up on the internet and say, like, what's good as far as pull-ups go?
Yeah.
I had no idea. So I think I could do 18.
That's solid.
No, it's not. Not when you're going to SEAL training. But, you just had no idea. I just said, okay, and I didn't know how to get to be able to do more. I mean, I just did a bunch.
Right. Doesn't that work, though? I mean, didn't that work?
Yeah,
right?
It did. Yeah, I mean, you do a bunch of pull-ups.
Smart.
Yeah, you do a bunch of pull-ups, and you get better at pull-ups. You do a bunch of dips, you get better at dips. You do a bunch of push-ups, you get better at push-ups. And luckily, I ran with boots on. That's one thing that a lot of guys had trouble with. I think nowadays they use these. They're almost like tennis shoes. The boots that they run with are like really light, athletic in buds. They're really light, athletic kind of boots. But back in the day, they were straight, just hardcore jungle boots. And a lot of guys had problems, shin splints, stress fractures, and all that. And I was good to go because I was used to running in boots because I was a knucklehead. And then the other part of the question, physically, where was I in my class? I was about in the middle of the pack. That's where I was. I was not the fastest. I was not the fastest runner, not the fastest swimmer. I wasn't the fastest at the obstacle course. I actually failed a run when I decided in my ultimate brilliance that I would just pace myself for this run. And failed the run, missed the time. The run was supposed to be 4 miles, but back in those days, there was no supervision on the instructors, like limited supervision, I should say. And so the runs would be 4.3 miles, 4.6 miles, 4.2 miles, 3.8 miles. You just didn't really know, and it was fine. I mean, that's the way it should be. Mm-hmm. And actually, you weren't allowed to wear a watch, so you had no idea what you were doing. So I just said, I'm going to pace myself and keep a good, steady pace. And I failed. And so from then on, there's only one way I ran. It was as hard as I could. It's literally as hard as when they blew the whistle to go, I just ran as hard as I could until the thing was over.
Wait, so why'd you fail, though? Like, did you just pace yourself too slowly, or did you pace yourself and then, you started gassing anyway?
No, I paced myself and it wasn't fast enough. That's it. I paced myself and it wasn't fast enough. I just came. And I was right behind the cutoff point, They're like, boom, and the guy ahead of me gets through, and one guy ahead of me gets turned away, like, no, you failed. And I was like, man. So I never paced myself again. All I could do to sprint. That's the way a lot of the evolutions were for me. I had to just go as hard as I could because I wasn't the best at any of it. And the only thing I was maybe a little bit better at was anything I've talked about this before. Anything that I had to carry weight, like a rucksack, I was a little bit better at than normal. Definitely not stellar, but I had an NCAA water polo champion in my buds class, and I had a Olympic alternate gymnast in my buds class.
Dang.
And both those guys were stud athletes. I mean, those are some of the top athletes in the world. I mean, if you win the NCAA championships of water polo and you're an Olympic alternate gymnast, you're just a specimen. And both those guys quit.
Dang.
Yeah. And there I was, Joe Average.
Yeah.
But, yeah. The bottom line is, though, you get to the SEAL teams, no one cares about buds. No one cares about that stuff. It's a baseline of training, and that's it. That's why I don't talk about it that often. It's like, who cares?
Hey, and buds, was there like people who'd like, let's say I was really good at running miles, was there people who you could tell they were showing off to be like first,
No, everyone's trying to win. Everyone's trying to go first. And if you ran track or cross country, you were gonna be fine in buds for running, unless you got stress fractures.
Yeah.
If you swam or you played water polo or whatever, you were gonna be fine in the running. So if you did some kind of high school sport that was related to those two, you were gonna be pretty good to go.
Yeah, but were they like so when you say they were trying to win, they're trying to be first?
Yeah, of course. Everyone's trying to win. Yeah, this. I mean, right? Aren't you? I am.
It seems like
I just couldn't. I tried.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're in that situation, right? You do your best, win, be the guy, the man.